I was just thinking, about how we always are on our phones and always checking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. And I made me come across the idea if our generation struggles with self-identity because of all the things we see online all the time. For example, do we know what career we want to choose? Do we know what house we want to live in? Do we know what kind of family we want to have? Because of so many things that we see, do we feel like obligated to, oh, well, I need to do this because this is what they're doing, and because it's in our face every day? Do you think we struggle with self-identity?
Well, in short, yes. I do feel like millennials, and not even just millennials, I think other generations can suffer with it too, just because of how influential social media and the media is, period. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, with the news, the gas shortage, everybody rushing to the gas station. Like, the media plays a major role in day-to-day life for a lot of people. The caveat to that is I just feel like as millennials, yes, we can become distracted by social media. Mm-hmm. We've all had moments where we're scrolling and we've been down a rabbit hole for 3 hours, and now we think, oh, I want to change my hair. Oh, I need to change how I dress. Oh, we need to get a new car, or whatever it is. But I think the important thing...
Excuse me.
I think that the important thing is getting back on track. Mm-hmm. I think some people know how to do that and realize, I might be getting a little too deep in social media. I need to take a break. Mm-hmm. And I think others get so deep in it that they just get lost in it, and social media does dictate their lives. So I think it could go either way, but I think more often than not, people are letting social media dictate their lives and how they're living and what they're doing and what they like, which clouds being able to identify what you like as an individual, who you want to be as an individual, how you feel as an individual.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's absolutely right. I think a lot of, like you said, not just our generation, but we're the internet generation. So we grew up, like most of us in high school had Facebook. So we're kind of the first.
I don't know. Who is most of
us? We're the first. So it's like, I think that it did, like, if you think about when you really start discovering who you are, it's kind of like, high school, your teenage, it's a little bit, you're influenced in high school anyway because it's your teenage years, but even in college or, post college, and those young adult years is really when you really start to kind of figure out who you are. And I think that sometimes it is difficult if you're looking on your phone, and even just from a lifestyle change, like if people going vegan, it's like, are you a vegan person, or is it like because you're constantly, it's a trend, yeah, it's like it's trend to be vegan, so okay, I'm vegan now, and it's like, but is that even who you are? I mean, I think I could see it. It could be difficult if you're faced with it every day, because it's hard enough trying to figure yourself out. But if you always have a screen in front of you telling you that quit, do this, you need to be this person. This is, if you want to be fit, you want to do this, and it's like it's always been around, but we have access to it 24/7.
Right. And I think that with that being said, the 24/7 access, we need to limit our social media time. Like, I think with our kids, we limit their TV time. Y'all need to go play. Y'all need to use your imagination. You need to go learn your letters. You need to go count, sing your ABCs, do something other than watch TV, right? I think the same rule applies for adults. We need to limit our social media time, because while we're scrolling, whether it's for 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, can turn into 10 hours in a 24-hour day, how productive are you really being?
Yeah.
You're allowing these sources and outlets to consume your mind so much that you can't even think for yourself. You literally don't know who you are, because you're investing so much of your mind and your time into social media that it's very easy to forget who you are, or not allow yourself the time to figure out who you are. It's already hard enough, being an adult and living in society, baseline. That's hard.
Yeah.
So if you're neglecting your need for mental stimulation in the real world, I think that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I really do.
I do. I agree. And I think that it is difficult, because like you said, it's so much stuff on social media, and it's not all bad stuff. It's like, it's good stuff, but there's like big major debates on. There's always the healthy debate on social media, like what you can and can't eat.
That debate is really, is giving me anxiety personally. Like, that health and food and oil and meat and vegan and vegetables not good for you, too much fruit is bad for you. It's so much information out there that it is overwhelming. It literally gives me anxiety, like, no joke.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I'm to the point where, like we talked about the other day, like, what my body may need may be different than what the next person's body needs. Somebody sitting right beside you might can't eat meat because they done got bit by a tick, or their metabolism doesn't work as fast as mine, or whatever. I just think that's one of the gifts and curses of social media. Anybody can put anything out there. Don't eat this because it'll cause this, or don't drink that, or just like everybody's lifestyle is different, everybody's eating habits are different. I don't think that, like, for example, we work out 5 to 6 days a week, okay? What our diets look like might look different than somebody else who works out 5 to 6 days a week. Why? Because their metabolism is different. Their background is different. Their culture is different. How they eat is different. So people out here putting out all of these things like, don't eat Oreos, don't use canola oil, and all of these things. Who does that apply to? Where is everybody getting this information from?
Right.
Where are the facts coming from with that? It's giving me so much anxiety. I be telling you, babe, we can't give the boys Hot Pockets anymore. They can't eat this anymore. They can't eat that anymore because it's not the same quality of food that we were eating when we were younger. But how do we know they're not the same Hot Pockets?
And you're not going back to what was like the self-identity, you're not making the decision yourself. It's not like you decided you will. It's not like you're like, oh man, I want to do this. Like, it's like there's certain aspects of who we are born. Like, you're just born, you have different things, but you can't even dive into that because of, like you said, it's like, oh man, I don't need to do this, or I don't need to do this, because like I said, it's always the healthy debate, and then it's always the career debate. It's always the either entrepreneur versus
9
wait
to 5.
9 to 5,
Yeah.
and then it's like
What works for one
both.
person?
Like I said, both are great. Like both, you have great outcomes from both, and it's like, but you don't even know, are you an entrepreneur, or do you work better in a 9 to 5 system? Like,
I think
you can't even figure it out because your phone.
And I just think, like, okay, for example, with my job, I create my own schedule. And when I first started this job, I was overwhelmed because it required a lot of time management.
Mm-hmm.
And I was used to a 9 to 5. I was used to rushing to work, clocking in at 7:53 because it's going round to 8 o'clock or whatever, and clocking out at 4:24 because it'll round to 4:30 and I can get to my car. Like, I was so programmed to the 9 to 5 that I couldn't imagine being a case manager and managing my own time.
Mm-hmm.
But now that
I need to make sure. Oh yeah, we did.
But now that I'm not working a 9 to 5 and I've tried something different, it's like, man, I don't think I could ever imagine going back to a 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm learning this off of experience, not let me go ask Twitter what I should do.
Right,
We all need to have a mind of our own and use our minds, because we're humans are so easily manipulated by the stuff they see. Literally, don't eat peanut butter anymore because the oil in it is this. And for years, peanut butter has been known as one of the main ways to get protein. And now all of a sudden, peanut butter is so bad for us. There's people who eat peanut butter by the spoonfuls every day and are healthy. But you got other people saying, oh, you're gross, and sending throw up emojis over peanut. Like, it's just...
It is difficult. So
Ugh.
I guess that brings, so it goes to another point in self-discovery. So if you think about it, when like you take the phones out the situation, as you grow older, it's like, your circle changes, your habits change, your things you used to do when you were 20, you don't do when you're 30.
Your needs change.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
So with that being said, so we see, we agree, we can say it is kind of difficult to balance, like having your own self identity when you have social media. But do you think that maybe a way to kind of help that situation could be, okay, how we kind of have to do a spring cleaning of our social media, like do you think that, okay, as I 20, when I'm 20, my social media looks like this.
Right.
When I'm 30, I need to kind of, restart a new one and create that 30-year-old, because do you think sometimes in self-identity, like, if you think of, you're looking at this stuff every day, so you're seeing things that you saw in high school.
Right.
Like, you're seeing things that you chose to pick in high school to follow or add and things like that, versus it's like, that was, for me, that's almost 20 years ago. So,
20 years ago.
So it's like, wow, I'm there's things I'm seeing 20 years ago, the ideas and things, like if I'm like, oh, I want to follow or add on Facebook, like just using an example, if I say I want to add PlayStation, and I'm like, I see PlayStation ads pop up on Facebook, but I haven't played a gaming system in 10, like, it's time to reset.
Right.
So
no, I think that is very important, because I'm not on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in 2 years. You know that. It was giving me terrible anxiety. Like, the stuff that was in my algorithms or whatever was showing me the craziest of things. And before I got off of Facebook, I went through all of my friends, and I was like, half of these people I don't talk to anymore. Some people I didn't even know. When you first get Facebook, you just add everybody, so you can be like, oh, I got 600 friends. So before I got off Facebook, I literally deleted 400 people. And I remember Chris, my brother, saying, why don't you just make a new Facebook? Like, who does that? And I'm thinking, sometimes you just can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, it's easier for me to just delete these friends than it is to make a new Facebook or whatever. So I said that to say spring cleaning is definitely necessary, and not just on social media, but in real life too. So with that spring cleaning, it was people from high school that literally 10 years later, I don't have anything in common with. I don't want to see y'all at the club doing this, half naked. Definitely not interested. Definitely not my lifestyle anymore. So why would I still be feeding my mind that? You know, just like in life, it's the old saying, some people in your life for a season and all this stuff. That rings true in real life and on social media. I think everybody needs to do a spring cleaning, you know. At the beginning of a new year, everybody's like, new year, new me. Oh, I have new goals. Part of those goals need to be cleaning out that closet, that social media closet. What do you want the next year of your life to look like? Okay, take the time, since we spend so much time on social media anyway, we're all guilty of it, and clean out that social media so that your algorithm is different. If you've been seeing a counselor and know that you have anxiety or whatever, delete all the things to change that algorithm so that you can start laying the foundation to control your mental in the new year. Like, it's not just as simple as new year, new me, but you still following, you know, whatever celebrity who's promoting butt injections, but you're having issues with your image and feeling insecure and self-conscious. How does that make sense?
Right.
It does not make any sense. None.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think with that spring cleaning, it's like, you can, if you don't spring clean, you can easily, that can get the confusion with the self-identity, because it's like, I know for me, for example, I had a old Instagram, and then it was like, this doesn't match my current life. Like, it's like, I was like, it's like the things I'm saying that they're suggesting to me and all this stuff. I'm like, this isn't, like, cause I mean, I had Instagram. They didn't make Instagram until after I was like 22, 23. So I got Instagram.
So you owe him.
So I got Instagram at 23, and it's like the things I was following then, and it's like, I mean, it's completely different, but it can be confusing, because sometimes, like for me, for example, you can look at your own accomplishments and kind of minimalize them, like because you can look at it and be like, oh man, I ain't really doing nothing, or I ain't really doing this, but it's because your circle on social media is still doing stuff, like, so it's like, man, it's like you could get a new job or a raise or promotion or something, and it's like you may want to share it, but at the same time you probably don't, but you're like, man, I should be down in like you know, Houston, or I should be in Hawaii right now, vacationing on a yacht or with a cruise, and it's like but it's like that was fun. I mean, that's always gonna be fun. But even I go to my Hawaii now, me going to Hawaii at 23 versus now married, family, it's two different. It's two different vacations.
But a lot of people, if you're not secure in yourself and you're not proud of your accomplishments as an individual, if you're not cheering yourself on, like, I got that promotion, I did that, I am the ish, I'm happy, this is what I wanted. If you're not doing that behind the scenes for yourself, being your biggest cheerleader, and you turn to social media for that validation and you don't get it, that can lead to depression, anxiety, questioning yourself. Maybe I should quit and become an entrepreneur. When you've been working towards that, this is why us as a people have to be self-aware. We have to be, you know, mentally in control, because if you not, recipe for disaster. Recipe for disaster. Like, I think I can speak for everybody when I say everybody's gone through a period where they've turned to social media for validation about something.
Oh yeah.
Is my outfit cute enough?
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I making enough money? How my hair look? Do my butt look cute in these jeans? How my muscles look? You know, how many girls is liking a picture of you with your arms out or whatever? Like, everybody has all, at one point in their life, turned to social media for some type of validation.
Right.
And if you could just think back to that time where you did that and how you felt when you didn't get that validation, that can be so traumatizing. That can literally send you over the edge. And present day, everybody's so gung-ho about mental health. Everybody's talking about mental health. Everybody's complaining about, oh, people aren't doing this. Nobody's supportive. Nobody's believing individuals who are suicidal. Everybody's complaining and saying all of these things and bringing all of these things to the forefront, but nobody is responding with solutions. You know, some people just need an answer. Some people don't just need a, are you okay?
Right.
Some people need that extra nudge. Hey, why don't you get off social media and work on your mental health? Because social media might be making it a little worse. Here's my number. Call me. Deactivate your page.
Yeah.
Give me your login so I can change your password and make sure that you can't get on there. And say, I'm going to be your accountability partner. Call me. Let's meet up at the coffee shop, whatever. I'm going to be your accountability partner because this is bigger than social media. So many people are going to comment, like, or whatever if somebody says, I'm thinking about ending my life. All you doing is commenting on a post. And for some people, that is enough in that moment. But when you're looking long term, no, they need more than that. They need to get off social media and gain control of their mental health, you know, because I just feel like it's just this cat and mouse game, you know?
Yeah.
Who's real? Who's really out here helping?
If you think about it, I mean, Facebook, I mean, if you look at the concept of social media, okay, Facebook, you have friends. And we all will say, we all know, oh, well, as you get older, your circle gets smaller, or your friends get smaller. But we're like, let's take it like Facebook, we have 2,000 friends or 500 friends. Like, just take it for what the wording. We have 5, or Instagram, I'm following this 100 people or 200 or 4,000. You know, I'm following these people. And it's like, when you really look at that, look at it from a wording aspect, it's like that doesn't seem healthy at all for you. Like, I'm following 500 people. So you're following, like, some people say, oh, I'm not a follower. But then you're following 500 people. Like, it's like, I think we have to put more realness to social media. Like, it's like, oh, it's just social media, don't take it serious. But at the same time, it's 2023. Social media is here to stay. It's been here. This is a part of everybody's life. Like, social media is a thing. It's not like you can just say, oh, I don't care about. Like, it's here. It's at, like, you cannot be on. It's either like if somebody talks to you, are you on Facebook? It's not like gonna say, what's Facebook? They'll be like, oh no, I'm not on, or they're on. But everybody knows what Facebook, Instagram, everybody knows.
This, so for the people who have 500 friends on Facebook or Instagram, but only has one real friend in real life in the flesh that they can talk to, confide in, whatever, reach out to, how do you think that plays on a person's mental health if they really going through something? Or how does that play into somebody's ability to be self-aware and figure out who they are and what they like and what they don't like and who they want to be? How do you think the number of friends you have on social media versus the number of real friends you have in real life play in that?
I think it gives you a false reality. Like, I think you're living in a false reality, because I think that's why, you know, people will vent on Facebook, because subconsciously it's like, man, I got 500 friends. Somebody understand. Like, you're venting, and you're probably hoping maybe one of your real friends see it. But reality is like, it creates a false reality and doesn't address I don't think it really addressed how you need to pour into your human friends. Like, I think that social media sometimes, like you said, you have 500 friends, but you may have one friend, and you may really not like, you may be living in, it could go one way or the other. You're living in a false reality to where your one friend can do something, and you're like, you're overreactive about it, and now you're putting it on Facebook, and somebody's like, oh nah, I wouldn't let my friend do that. My friend would never do that. Yeah. But it's like, that's your one friend.
Right.
But it makes you feel, social media makes you feel like, because at the end of the day, you're not going to talk to those 500 people every single day.
And I think social media can make you take for granted what you have in real life. And also, the way some people vent on social media, they don't even feel comfortable enough to vent to that one friend that they do have.
Right.
So it's like, what are you looking for when you're venting on this platform? What are you looking for? If you're not even comfortable enough or secure enough or feel safe enough to reach out to somebody you know, what are you looking for from a stranger? Because what you're getting from a stranger or somebody you met on the sidewalk and just got their Facebook information, that is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
What is the long-term goal with that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense to me. Help me piece that together. Because in my mind, having worked on myself as an individual and becoming self-aware and creating boundaries in real life and boundaries on social media, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my mind around it. I don't know how that is pouring into, what are you getting from that?
Well, I think it feeds, like I said, it goes back to that self-discovery or self-identity, because you don't know who you are. So you're like, you can't recognize, I have trouble addressing conflicts with self-identity because Facebook or Twitter or Instagram saves you from having to deal with it.
Right.
So it's like it saves you, because it's like, really, you can address your friend and it be squashed and y'all move forward and everything's great. But
you can address your friend and that's the end of the friendship. And that might be what a lot of people are scared of.
It's like people it's difficult to come to that if you're living in that false reality.
Yeah.
So
do you think that social media, since it creates so many false realities, could be the downfall of society as a whole? Or do you think that there's an equal balance of negativity and positivity? Or do you think it's all about the individual holding themselves accountable and not allowing society to be their downfall?
I think social media is going to have to be restructured. Not the platforms itself, but how we look at it. I think that our generation is looking at social media from when we first got on it. Like, when we first got on it, we're thinking, like we know that's fake. We've seen it evolve, but we're still coming at it kind of a little old. Like, we're kind of looking at it a little old, like, oh man. But I think that it's gonna be the downfall, and because some people's lives have completely changed off of social media. Like, if you think about a lot of these comedians now, like, when we were growing up, you only knew, the Steve Harvey, Cedric Entertainer, Bernie Mac, because of TV.
Right.
But now it's like so many people that you're like, oh, he's really funny. Like, I follow Spice Adams, and I never even I never even knew him, and he's hilarious. But it's like those things, I think, is the good thing about social media.
So it's all about how you approach social media.
I think it's
so
how
it's
you approach
it's about individual accountability with
right. I think so. We're talking about solutions. So I think we should have a 5-step program for social media.
I'm here for it, babe.
So I think like number 5, I would say is fast. Like you mentioned earlier, is I think we all need a fast regroup.
What do you think is like the appropriate time frame for the fast? Like, do you think it's situational, or do you feel like everybody should minimally fast from social media for a month?
I think every year.
For how long?
That's a difficult question. I think really until you're ready.
Yeah. So it's a case by case.
I think it's case by
but
case.
But you need to
but
be
I
intentional
think once
about
a
fasting.
year.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I think once a minimum, I would say a month. But I think we all at the beginning of the new year reset. Like it's like, okay, where am I at in my life right now? Where am I this? Okay, that's how I want my social media to look. Like if you're all about fitness, if you're like, I'm gonna go hard in the gym, it's like, okay, my social media needs to be geared towards fitness and health and all these things. And it can't be like, if last year you were following like food stuff or people you know that eat a lot or all this stuff, it's like you got to erase that because you got to reset.
Yeah,
you have to
and
reset.
That's a way to hold yourself accountable.
Exactly.
If you want to be fit, but you're looking at all these new recipes, and you run into the store.
Exactly, or if it like I said, if you're, it's a reset. You make your social media what your goals are, and I think we change so much every year that it's time for us to start actually applying that in our social media.
Right, because social media, like you said, is so much. It's so relevant. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's going to be important, just like we have to create boundaries with employers, friends, family, neighbors, strangers, whoever. We got to create boundaries with social media too. Now, with that being said, I want to tie this into parenting because somebody did ask, based off of our last video, what we think about social media as it pertains to raising kids and what that should look like. What is your opinion on that?
I think that we raised it, obviously it's here, but I think we address it as it's a way to, I think you cater to what we're talking about now, like what you want your child to be. I mean, obviously there's only so much but the difference between us and our parents didn't know technology. We know technology, so they didn't know what. That's
questionable. I'm still learning.
They didn't know what we was looking at. They don't know. I mean, it's new. Like we know you on Instagram, I'm gonna follow you. Or you on this, I know what you're doing, like that.
Because it's so readily available, and there are really good shows on YouTube that the boys can watch and things like that. Ads pop up, if they're holding their tablets and they're clicking stuff and it's taking them to other things and they start exploring, as a parent, we have to be prepared to have those conversations. If they accidentally hit something, we know nudity can pop up, profanity can pop up. There's been cases where
that little witch thing was screaming.
Like all these little weird things on social media. What guidelines and boundaries do you think are important for us to implement with our children from young, because we know how readily available? Should we introduce them to it because we know they're going to get into it at some point, but put limitations and boundaries on it? Or should we wait until they stumble upon it? There's so many different.
I think you should introduce them to it. My opinion, and I think it could go either way. But my opinion, I think you shouldn't, because it's here. Like they're gonna run into, like, their teacher might play something on YouTube. Or like they might say, okay, it's here. Like they got like even when COVID, virtual learning,
Right.
tablets.
Right,
like,
right.
You got to use this app, which is how you do. Like it's here, so I think they have to. It's almost like the new ABCs. Like it's like your child doesn't know how to use a tablet. They may say, "Oh,
what's wrong with you?" So and I think so. I think I agree with you. I'm on the same page with you as that. I 100% agree, and I also feel that way because I feel like as a parent, if you something like social media, because that can be detrimental or it can be helpful, if you introduce your child to that and you establish a relationship with your child around it, they're gonna feel comfortable coming to you saying, "Mommy or Daddy, this came up," or we all have gone through that exploring age where we clicking stuff we know we ain't got no business, but our kids don't know yet. But they'll know when they get older. Mommy and Daddy can check the history. Mommy can go back and see what I was looking at.
Right.
But at least, we can lay the foundation to where if they hit something and it's nudity or it's whatever, they feel comfortable to come with us because we've already laid that foundation with them and made them comfortable. Whereas I feel like previous generations tried to hide so much from us that when we stumbled upon it, we hide and we looking and we want to see more and we ain't saying nothing.
But they didn't even know what we was doing.
Exactly. And the thing is, that's because of the dynamics of it all.
It was a change. It was a big change. So.
Right. They had no idea what we was doing.
No, they didn't. I mean, we had them little AOL discs come in the mail and you'll dial up and be on there. And I mean... And back then, it was like the internet. It was, you had AIM, instant message. So it was like, you could put up a whole.
You remember that time I told you? I was in Jersey, and my Uncle Chris, I was instant messaging somebody in middle school, some boy. And I said, WTF. I had just learned WTF. And Big Chris walked up on me and he reading the messages and he said, "What is WTF?" I said, "Wednesday, Thursday, Friday." And he was like, I don't know if that's right, but okay. That to your point, they didn't know what we was doing.
So alright, so back to the step 5. So number 5 is passing for the program. Number 4, I would say number 4 is kind of what we talked about in number 5 is set your friends, your followers to what your goals are for that year. Like change your
algorithm.
You got to change your algorithm.
Because we are in control of that.
Exactly.
But we giving them the control because
we'll say, "Oh,
looking
man,
at stuff.
Facebook is sending me burgers," but probably because you just looked up Five Guys. Like,
right.
What is Five Guys open
What's
today?
that new sauce everybody's talking about?
so that's why you keep seeing burgers or something. And it's like we're smart. We know what. Like, if you look at stuff too long, Facebook or Instagram is gonna start sending you more feeding
your mind.
I look at houses. I'm always sending you houses and stuff, and it's like now all I see is whoa, too much house. Realtors adding me and stuff, and it's like but I know it. But at the same time, so number 4 is focus on what your goals are. Like if your goal is health, if your goal is mental health, if your goal is spiritual health, if your goal is you want a house, follow realtors. If you want to learn how to flip, follow people who flip. If you want a career in whatever,
right? So basically, use social media as your accountability partner.
That's your circle.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 3 is for figuring it out and having it work with you. I think number 3 is kind of what you said. Remove the bad.
Don't be afraid to hit delete. Seasons. Some stuff is seasons. Delete, block, gone. Peace, deuces, out of here.
Number 3, I would say, is just remove. It's tough. Remove or start anew. If you don't want to remove, if it's too much stuff to remove, just start a new one. And I think you just have to. I think that's part of
Don't worry about the amount of
the
followers.
growth.
And
I mean, all that stuff. Unless you're, trying to promote a business and all that. But I think everybody's personal account, like, you got to remove, and it's not personal, and people probably won't even know if you removed them or not.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's true. Unless that one real friend that you got in real life, that's like, hey, why you delete me?
Yes. Number 2, I would say is accept social media. Don't call it fake. Like, number 2 is like, don't say, people, oh, social media, this is fake. It's real.
It has too much control.
It's real.
Fake.
Like, it's not.
There are fake
it's
things
not like,
on
oh man,
social
people don't believe people be stunting or faking on social media. No, it's real though. Like, it's real. Even if they are stunting, even if they,
it's affecting people.
It's affecting people's lives.
Right.
Social media is real.
Right.
It's not fake.
Except that it's affecting you mentally.
Exactly. Accept that social media is real and take it serious, because it's affecting your mental health. It's affecting
your ability to know who you are.
Exactly. Your ability to know who you are.
Social media has a lot of control. So what's number 1, babe?
Number one.
Lay it on.
What's number 1?
Lay it on. What's number 1?
Number 4, 2 through 5 was so good. I'm trying to think of number 1 now. But number 1, I would say, in balancing your self-identity, is I
think number 1 should be geared around accountability.
Yeah. So, well, I was actually going to say, look at social media, like you said, with accountability. I think number 1 is hold yourself accountable with how often you use social media,
how you let it
affect you, how you accountability is number 1. And I think that's with self-identity, it's like, okay, oh man, I keep, like, it's like every year, you do the reset, you fast, you do this, but you keep, by September, August, you keep seeing the same crazy stuff you've been seeing the previous year.
Maybe you can fast a little longer.
You gotta,
or make a new one.
Accountability is, you know what, maybe I have an issue. Like, maybe I'm obsessed with this lifestyle. Maybe I'm want to stunt. Maybe I want to floss. Maybe I want to...
And if you want to do that, that's okay. Yeah. But you need to acknowledge that.
You have to be accountable for who you are.
Yes.
So.
Yes, I'm definitely here for that. I agree. I mean, check. I agree 100%.
Yes, so I think we got it. Mm-hmm. You have any final words?
My final words as it pertains to social media and self-identity is, I think that everybody, millennial, Gen Z, Alpha, baby boomers, everybody needs to take the time to be intentional about knowing exactly who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, accepting that so that we're not so reactive or we're not so easily manipulated. Because when you're unsure of those things, that's how you end up down rabbit holes on social media. That's how you end up making negative comments under somebody's post that you don't even know. So now, because you don't know who you are, you're unintentionally affecting someone else's mental health because you don't know who you are. So now the burdens that you're carrying, you're trying to put that on somebody else because you mad that they had the courage to post something or you don't agree. The thing about life is, we're not going to agree with everything that everybody doing. And that's everybody else's business. Your business is to know who you are and be firm in that. Because if you're firm in that and you know it and you 100% sure, you 10 toes down, you solid on it, you're not going to be so easily triggered.
Right.
You're not going to be on social media going down so many rabbit holes. You're not going to be going back and forth. We all have been through the phase where we going back and forth with somebody on social media because we don't agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, what is that doing but causing more strife for either yourself or the person you going back and forth with? That ain't doing that. Put it down. Put it down until you secure with yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you secure, you're going to be scrolling like, I don't agree, but what that got to do with me? I'm over here living my life.
Yeah.
I see why he or she think that, but that ain't what I think. You'll be okay with not being okay with what somebody else think or what somebody else do. Because at the end of the day, what we doing in our lives, who is that affecting? Nobody.
But
What we doing is affecting us. So whoever got a problem with it, that's their problem. That's not our problem. And we know that we're not going to allow anybody to make it our problem, you know? So that's my final thoughts. That's my little talk with my tequila.